resurrect some of those stories. But I think part of the issue is basically that we don't have alternatives for these individuals to consider, what can they do to actually maintain their livelihood or develop in a social entrepreneurship way, some type of commercial type of foundational support of sustainability. And that's part of the reason. I mean, these people are in abject poverty, and oftentimes there's no other option for them. It's between survival and that. And so we just need to make sure that they have a cadre of other options, alternatives that are sustainable. So that's what we're in the business of doing through the center, helping to train people, educate them, and let them find resources to help them actually achieve those alternatives. Anyone else?
I passed out some sheets that have more information about the
Jesse's
programs in the College Consortium.
Thank you.
Before I forget to.
Yeah, like we were talking about Thailand. I remember watching on MSNBC specials about, them going to Thailand and bringing up some of the sex trade things. And I was wondering, like they went off, and I was really disappointed by that. Like, what can we do to push our media to show more things about problems that are in the world, to get them to pay attention to this and make other people pay attention to this as well?
That's a big can of worms, but I really think that there's so many factors that play into what goes on the media. But I really think that if people, as individuals, if we go out there, can you imagine if each one of us went on our Facebooks tonight and posted a video about sex trafficking in Thailand, just specifically. Each one of us went on our Facebook, and then all of our friends reposted that on their Facebooks. Could you imagine how quickly that would just spread throughout Facebook? And there's millions of people on Facebook. The media would catch it like that. Oh my God, there's just like when something gets really popular on YouTube, and all of a sudden, oh, it's the big thing, and then CNN's covering it, and then you have Tosh.0 talking about like, oh, I've got this guy who has the most popular video. So I really think it's individualized. I think if we go out there, talk to your friends about it. You know about it, but do your friends know about it? And if your friends are in here, I'm sure you have I hope you have more than 3 friends. So do they know about it, and do they care? Some people, they don't care. They think, well, it's not about me. But, okay, then maybe one person who doesn't care. But how many people do you know? Tell them. Tell your friends. Write a letter. I know Amnesty International, they're always taking letters. Always taking letters. And they have things pre-made for you. It's just really about getting the people up in arms. And I really think that when you get the people behind you, you can do anything.
Any more questions? Comments? I have a question too.
No one problem is an isolated problem. And that's the beauty of the United Nations, because the United Nations is doing everything to uplift people, whether it's to get them better water, better air quality, better food, better health care. And as we uplift people's lives, these alternatives, maybe even for the traffickers, they won't see the necessity of these alternatives. And I'm not saying that people are voluntarily going into slavery or some kind of trafficking. But I mean, they're in some kind of they're on the street, they've got a pretty bad life, they're in some kind of a drifting mode where it's easy to snatch them. And that's probably the majority of it. And I think that we all ought to support the United Nations in everything it's doing. And because every one of these problems is interrelated. And the way, it's really shameful the way we in this first world just kind of ignore the life standard of people, so many people all over the world, and not, just think, okay, those guys in the United Nations are taken care of, but we can relax. And more than United Nations and more than governments, that's what the exciting part. I'll just say what Rebecca said again, to be part of the Center for Global Peace Through Commerce. If we can show business that they can actually affect the lives of the lower income population of the earth in a really good way, at least they've got some power to do it. We're not trying to blame all the problems on them. We're not trying to pin all the solutions on them. But somehow it does take everyone working together. We're going to try to work through business. There's the political, which some of us are practicing, studying for law. Okay, there's so many different routes, and the end result is that everybody has a better life. So let's put our hearts in that place.
Questions? Answers? Comments?
One final question for you. Sure.
I know, and based on what you were saying, and what's your first name again? Michaela, thank you, Michaela. I know when you had an earlier question about, sort of is there, and you didn't ask the specific one, but for Monica, is there a specific statute of limitations? Once that a country has actually signed on, is there a limit as to how far the UN is willing to observe their development in that process before they finally say, okay, you've missed the deadline?
Yes, there is.
Okay, thank you.
It varies from declaration or resolution or protocol to protocol. I believe this one is open until 2025. Don't quote me on that, but I thought that was the number that I saw. What happens after that, I don't know. They might hold between then another summit or another, some kind of forum to talk about it again. And they will, in the UN, they will re-urge member states who have not ratified this. And they'll do that over and over every year. They'll keep passing legislation that's saying, you've got 145 people telling you 5 people, you need to sign this. And we just signed this, we just signed this resolution. So that's how they go about trying to get people to sign it or sign anything, really.
Thank you.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. Nobody brought it up as a question, but there's also this pro-prostitution side. And when I heard that, I was like, what? That's crazy. Who's for prostitution? But there's this whole other side of the story that says, these women, that's all they can do. So don't take away their liberty of doing the one job that they can do. I thought that was crazy. And so obviously the UN has said, no, that is not the stand we take. And that's pretty much a minority view, but I was just throwing that out there, that there are always two sides to a story. And so some people say, if I want to have consensual sex with strangers, then I can have consensual sex with strangers for money. And, I think that's a moral question, but it's also specific to each different state. So I don't know, the U.S. has anti-prostitution laws, and I can't say that every country does. I'm pretty sure they don't. So that would be something interesting if you guys want to have a thesis to write. Maybe that could be a little topic for you guys. Who's got the laws and what do they mean?
Well, that's totally different than children.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think anybody says that about children.
Right. Hope not.
I have one little question. Because when I saw the statistics of the children, it was like 17,000 children here in the U.S.
244,000 children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was a huge number, and I was amazed with how many young people and children are actually imported here to do that labor. And where are they found, though? Because you said there's brothels or homes. Like, I don't understand. Are there really homes, brothels here, or are they found in clubs or other places? Like, can you explain a little bit about that? Because I know there's a law that against brothels and all that, but I'm just curious, where are they found?
Yeah, they're everywhere. The 3 biggest states for human trafficking in the U.S. are Texas, Florida, and I want to say New York, and then Illinois is 4th. So they're here. Chicago is a huge, huge city. I'm from a small town in Texas. So when I came to Chicago, I was like, oh my God, this place is so big. It's so amazing. It's way bigger than Dallas. So it's everywhere. And yes, it's in people's homes. It's in clubs. Like you said, it could be, they could be in fields working. They can be in some kind of like internment camps that you may not necessarily see. They live in apartments. They live everywhere. They're everywhere around us.